I was a civil defense child of the 1950s and 60s. I know, it sounds like one of those old radio shows.
I was a communist for the FBI.
But there you have it. My mom and dad lived pretty much normal lives back then, but catastrophe was never far from their minds. There was the bomb, Russia, the Red Menace. So my dad got way into building a backyard fallout shelter for the family. And my mom backed him up to furnish it with supplies.
It's always wise to keep an eye open for the black and yellow public fallout shelter signs.
I had the drill drummed into me so hard that I never forgot it.
Checked for proper shielding against radioactive fallout, and in many cases, already stocked with emergency food rations, water, and basic survival equipment.
Basic survival equipment. When I got out of school and it was time to look for work, that phrase stuck in my mind. What could be more important? I mean, if you didn't survive, what else was there?
The system will also filter out major contaminants like Giardia.
I kept with it all through the 70s and then the 80s and then, Jesus Christ, into the 90s. I was on the road most all the time, checking on products my distribution company was hawking at conventions.
It's a meal that heats itself in its own box. Comes to everything you need for a hot meal anytime, any place.
Occasionally I'd be home for a spell and I'd drive around town to try and decompress. Besides just hanging around the pad and collapsing from exhaustion in front of the tube. I was getting sick and tired of my job after so many years. Seems like we as a country were doing nothing but lurching from one disaster to another, with people lining up at the trough to feed off it.
Vacuum packers. I like it.
In all fairness, I had to admit that I was one of the feeders, but a guy's got to make a living. And then the daddy of them all hit, Y2K. My company sent me out on special Y2K duty, which was about as depressing as it could possibly be.
Hopefully there won't be a panic, because the problem is that nobody really
I
knows.
ground my way forward for a while until the next catastrophe.
We were just sitting at our desks about 9 a.m. this morning. We heard a big explosion.
That really did me in, and finally I fessed up to myself that I couldn't take anymore, so I took early retirement.
And then we just evacuated.
Holed up in my place and basically did nothing but watch TV. As time kept ticking away, doing nothing was messing with my head.
This is what it's like on the receiving end.
Marty Sherman and George from the Sawmill.
Warning! This video contains explicit material not suitable for children.
Excuse my French, everybody in America, but I am pissed. Now get off your asses and let's do something, and let's fix the biggest goddamn crisis in the history of this country.
Then one night, something weird happened. I was channel surfing and I hit this program. It looked familiar and it took me about 2 seconds to remember. It was Wii Fit, which was a huge hit video game back in the day for people to get in shape and stay that way. It had a little platform you could step or jump on. In fact, I got one myself right after I retired. I thought, and changed the channel. And there was another one. And another. What was different was you couldn't actually exercise, you just sat and watched. And then something started dawning on me. I could really get behind this place. Learn the route, get comfy with the buildings I ran past over and over, all without lifting a finger. Fantasy exercise at its finest. Really, who would need anything else?